Well, welcome everyone. I'm so happy to be here. My heart is very happy to share this time with you tonight. It is a very happy new year. I give blessings to everyone, and I sure have had a lot of celebrating and oh my gosh, the overeating over the past month. And I hope you celebrated well too. January is kind of a funny time for me. I've always thought of January as the cleanup month. I put everything away, we're resting, we're really kind of putting to mind the question, what is it that I want this new year to be about for me? And then the year really officially begins for me around the towards the end of January and into February. So I have my own kind of personal weird calendar around some of that. But I'd like to begin tonight by going backwards and acknowledging this past year. We didn't do and I didn't do any of my usual bowl burning ceremonies or even the worldwide peace meditation that's always done, on New Year's Eve in the wee hours of the morning at the same time around the globe. It's a wonderful peace meditation, but I just wanted to be by myself this year. I just wanted to be present for me. I did do my personal meditations and visioning for the new year, and I wanted to take the time and actually the brain space to be more prepared for our service tonight. Recently, I've come to realize it's best for me to only do one thing at a time. The year 2021 was still very challenging for many people. And actually, I'll say the past 2 years, 2020 and 2021, can probably go down in the books as something most of us could never have imagined. I don't know what words I would actually use to describe them. What I do know is that, well, I can't actually name the events and the thresholds and the shifts that I obviously went through, but I do know that I am not the same person today that I was 12 months ago. And I'm willing to be very grateful for how I've changed and how I've come to almost recognize a shift now, even when it's happening. I've tried to really stay in tune with that energy, and I believe it makes a difference. There is a lot to be grateful, actually, because everything has brought you to this moment of wake up. Everything has brought me to this moment, to wake me up, to open me up, to remember who I am. And I know that for you too. Gratitude becomes a very positive magnet for more positive pathways to open and to be grateful for again as it kind of snowballs. So it's good to be grateful for what is good and to release what does not serve you. And despite the ups and downs, or whatever last year was for you, you might begin to allow yourself to affirm and see a glimpse into a better future for this next year ahead. You may not see it just yet, but I do believe that humanity is beginning to work its way out of the darkness. Some of the things I read on the back channels say it might feel kind of rocky for the first 3 to 6 months because we'll go through a lot of changes, and then it will be what we have all been waiting for. Whether you feel it or feel better or worse than last year depends on your perspective. And as Science of Mind people, we are taught to always be ready with affirmative words and treatment to guide us through the rocky times. That's how we assist as co-creators in our reality. Now, that may bring up a question for you. As you're creating your reality, you might wonder, if I am doing that, why is it taking so long to really truly break through into wholeness and better health, freedom and sovereignty and abundance and prosperity, the love, the peace, the well-being? Well, what have been your efforts over the past year to manifest your own new divine earth? However, whatever your approach has been going into the new year is a very good start. But to gather true momentum, it'll take more than just human energy. It takes divine power, strength, protection, wisdom, and love. And that's our connection to the divine source. That's being so open with an open heart, being so in connection with the truth. That's spiritual truth with a capital T. That we're here and open for source to come through us, so connected that we are the co-creators with source for that divine power, strength, protection, wisdom, and love. Yes, those of us within the Science of Mind New Thought community are not the only ones doing this. Did you know that during November, December, into January around the world, there are as many as 44 different days of recognition or holidays, depending on what they're called, and how they're celebrated. That's really a lot. And amongst most of them are common themes of a guiding light and or guiding principles for the followers. That's very interesting trivia for some. Most of these holidays during the past 2 months signify the light within, an event or consciousness that signifies the light or guiding principles to live by. Our philosophy, Science of Mind, is a path of principles to reveal our own light that comes from the divine, the source creator, source energy, spirit, God, that still small voice that lives within us. Always present to guide, to remind us where we come from, what we are, who we are, what we are capable of, and that we are never alone. It wants us to remember who we are. But we have to find our own awareness of this light. It's not something really that you could just lean over to the next person to you and say, hey, did you know that you have within you a light that's going to guide you every day? Because they're going to go, what? Say what? And you go, yeah, really, no kidding, it's there. And they're like, what are you talking about? Get out of here. Well, that could happen. And unfortunately, I know from kind of personal experience that that's not the best way to introduce this to others. But it's a great place for each of us to start with gratitude, being grateful for that guiding light within us that we know is the light of Christ consciousness, or the light of divine source, or one might even call it the light of my own higher self, my God self, guiding the way for my highest good in every moment. We have to discover it for ourselves. We have to be ready for it. Something has to awaken us to want us to see it and trust it. Now, the younger people coming in today are wired very differently. They have it. It's like they're born with it. But they do have to be guided how to use it, how to live by it. A lot of us, the older folks, well, we had to kind of fall on our faces first to see it, didn't we? The sequence of solstice and Christmas together for us is about the light. The baby Jesus carried the light. Jesus, the man, taught us how to use the light and brought us the Christ consciousness to grow into the light and as the light. The solstice reminds us that every year there is a natural time that resonates with the importance to go within, to bring our light within and to go into our own darkness, our silence, to reflect about our life, who we are, and that we have the opportunity to rebirth ourselves with our own inner light that comes out stronger as the light and the outer light returns. The deep winter that we're heading into supports us, feeling okay to close the blinds and huddle down and do the work of reflection. And then the cycle begins again, going within to growth and awakening, expand, to know who we are and reflect and vibrate that love and that light. So here we are now. The new year begins, and we have this renewed light within us, stronger, brighter. We released what doesn't work for us anymore, what we want to let go of that doesn't represent what we want to be going forward, and things that we don't really align with any longer. We go within for a bit, and then we are open, ready, ripe to move forward and to grow. How do we be that bridge of light into the very next thing for us? Donald Hicks, who wrote Look into the Stillness, says, always let your inner light shine. By doing so, you not only light the path for yourself, but you also light the path for others. Heidi Dupree writes from The Other Medicine That Really Works, How Energy Medicine Can Help Heal You in Body, Mind, and Spirit. She says, if it feels like cracks are forming in your life, those cracks may be what's needed for the light within to reveal itself. From Ernest Holmes, he says the distinct difference between Science of Mind and the other New Thought philosophies is our own spiritual mind treatment, our affirmative 5-step prayer that we teach in our classes and that our licensed practitioners and ministers provide for others who ask. Ernest Holmes says that if a spiritual mind treatment could be seen, it would be seen as a pathway of light. It is all about the light. So I want to shift gears for just a minute. I've explained before in previous talks that our home office creates a team of ministers and practitioners each year to create a theme of the year ahead and a theme for each month, and then weekly to guide the service talks or the sermon, this wonderful monologue I'm doing, whatever you want to call it. The global theme for the year of 2022 from the Home Office is Living Everyday Wonder. Each month will focus on living everyday wonder in different areas of our lives. The January information forms an umbrella about the story of wonder in our lives, looking at curiosity and joy and proving that the practices that we live by really come true. Sometimes we don't see the wonder in simple things in our lives because we're not normally taught to see them. But it's really everywhere. And when we see it, it becomes like a ripple in the pond, rippling out, so to speak, that heightens our positivity and our gratefulness. The practice of the principles that we teach is what brings them alive and brings our lives up to the next level. It is up leveling each of us the more we do them. And the more they reflect back to us how powerful they are and how powerful we can be. And that is a wonder. The topics that will take us through February and through the whole year into December look at everyday wonder of inner life, and then play, creativity, emotions, body, relationships, nature, work, finances, home, and we end with community leading into nativity. Now, the rotation of speakers that you have here at the Tulsa Center for Spiritual Living, which, by the way, you're very fortunate to have such great speakers, they have the option of using these suggested topics for speaking, or whatever inspiration comes to them from spirit that wants to be expressed at that time, or even merging all that information. So it leaves space for wonderful information and to help nurture your light in all these different areas of your life. I wanted to give you a brief summary of that because it's with the intention that through these talks, we hope that you're provided with information for you to grow and that your light can shine in greater ways and to know the importance of who you are. Ernest Holmes writes from his book, This Thing Called You. The desire you have to be something, to do something, is a mental echo in your mind of the spirit which already exists within you. It is an impact of your divine and spiritual self upon your mental and psychological self. It is the spirit in you seeking an avenue of expression through you. It is the real self you would like to be, the deep spiritual self, having all knowledge, having all access, being one with life. This is the self that can heal the sick and raise the dead. It is a transcendent, triumphant self. So, nurturing that light within, building a deeper connection to Source is the avenue for expression through you. This is being the true, authentic you. So, what do you want to experience in the new year ahead? Only you can answer that. And you may have an answer for your outside world when people ask, and something even different privately for yourself. But somewhere, make a point to discover your light and let it shine for others to see. Affirm every day that this is the best day ever. Affirm that 2022 will be the best year ever for every positive thing in your life. This is the year of rebuilding wonder in every day and every area of your life. Here are some things to do to help you along the way. And these are a few of our spiritual practices that we teach. Visioning. Visioning is one, to ask the questions in that sacred space and allow for the responses of your inner self, your higher self, your God self, spirit to reveal to you what is waiting to be shown to you, what wants to be revealed. Meditation always is that classic. It is it's really not about just stilling the mind. It's going deep within to that space in your heart, into your consciousness, into layers, into the light. That's a conversation that's there waiting for you. Walking in nature. Now it's kind of cold outside, but walking in nature and letting your mind ramble a bit. Ask a question before you go and see what pops up in your mind as you walk. Because sometimes your attention is diverted physically in that walking, and that's when the soul feels easy to speak to you. Writing and journaling, of course. Writing can be deeply healing. It allows us to explore situations and feelings in a way that's safe. We all have a story to tell, even if it's just to our own soul, because your soul will listen if no one else will. Write about your good things, your unhappy things, things of the past, the things that you dream of in the future. It's very healing. You can discover a part of yourself that doesn't know any other way to show itself, and explore different ways to outline what you want to get out. There's a wonderful website, dailyom.com, and they are offering a year-long writing program that's very inexpensive, that gives you prompts for weekly guides or for daily guides. The Art of Journaling by Julia Cameron is an old classic. It's a wonderful book, and her instruction is to sit every morning writing 3 pages of anything that comes to mind. 3 pages, and don't stop until your 3 pages are done, because eventually the soul gets comfortable with the writing, and then, gosh, just amazing things will come through your pen. And with the beginning of a fresh new year, you have the opportunity to begin all over again, right? And in these first few days of the year, the energies are perfect to write your vision for 2022. When you're writing out your vision, it's as if you're sending your design of your life to the universe and your I am presence. Simply take a few minutes, write a piece of paper in your journal, write out your answers to some of these questions. Now, here's 12 questions that I'm going to get, and I'm also going to write them down under here in the space beneath the video. So here's the questions. What would you like to experience in 2022 if time and money were not an issue? How would you like to grow spiritually? How would you like to grow in relationships? How would you like to grow with your health? How would you like to grow financially? What would you like to contribute to the world? Would it be in time, wisdom, money, whatever it would be? Doesn't matter what the topic is. If you fulfilled your divine plan, how would you feel? Now, the answers to these questions above that I just gave you, the 7 questions, are already a wonderful starting point. But if you want to go further, here's a few more. What are you most passionate about? What would you like to eliminate from your life in order to fill your divine purpose? What are the obstacles that seem to be in the way of doing that? How could you assist, or who could assist you in fulfilling your divine plan? And the who could be anything, human or higher dimensional assistance, such as your spiritual family, your ascended host, angelic host, cosmic host, your galactic family, your I am presence, whatever you want to call that. What are you most proud of in your life? What are you most grateful for? So spend time answering these questions. Keep the answers close to your heart and read them once in a while. The universe and your I am presence are always listening. And I bet maybe you can even think of a few more questions, maybe that are personal, and a few more things to do as well. So play with it. I'll end with a memory that popped up on Facebook this morning for me that I wrote 2 years ago on New Year's Day in 2020. It's as powerful now as it was then. And here it is. My thought for meditation for the new year. Appearances on the surface are not always what is truly going on underneath events and faces. Long ago, when I didn't have much, I learned to be thankful for the smallest things I had, no matter what else was going on in my life or around me. It was a simple reading that even the smallest speck of light and gratitude was important. I could be thankful for my socks, for the curtains on the window, for the kitty that sits on the neighbor's fence. That's cute. This began to grow and eventually changed the percentage of angry, sad thoughts versus neutral and grateful thoughts. And eventually I noticed that things, people, and events started showing up that served to support and help me with what I needed, even though I didn't have money and material things that other friends had. Not sure why this particular picture was in my head today, but maybe I can pass it on. As the new year starts, no matter what our experience is in the moment, be thankful for every living thing, every little thing and big thing, no matter how the year rolls. The world looks scary, but underneath good things are happening. My prayer for a long time was, I claim that I am always in the right place for the right thing with the right people and the right idea to come to me for my highest good. And today I stretch the envelope 5% more to receive. And so it is. Happy New Year to you, one and all. Make this your healthiest, most prosperous, and most freeing, most loving, most gratitude-filled, unconditional loving, best year ever. Thank you.